SoFi Stadium. We're doing shots. We got whiskey. It's going down. That's how Cowboy fans do it. All the CanFan maniacs out there. How about them Cowboys? We walked what I'm calling a Dallas Cowboys corridor. As you can tell, we are at a Cowboys home game. Yes, I understand that we are in Los Angeles, Inglewood, technically SoFi Stadium, but this is basically AT&T West. So follow me this way. We're gonna see if we can find a couple of fans. We are infiltrating enemy territory. The Cowboy fans are doing it right. We got the signage, we got the great food, we got the inflatables. Thoughts on today's game?
We're gonna beat the shit out of them.
Woo! You see this right here? How do you feel about today's game?
We better win, that's all I know.
How do you feel about Dak Prescott after last week's performance?
Dak Prescott has been very consistent with the division. He has took us back-to-back 12-5 seasons. You know what I mean? He has winning records above. You can say what you want about the past 7 years, but on our division, he has been owning it for years.
Are you a Dak rider or are you a Dak hater?
Before he broke his finger, I was a rider. Now, nah. They need to let him go now.
You know Dak Prescott's watching this right now, right? Actually follows the CanFan podcast.
Look.
Go!
Let's go, baby! Cowboys Nation, son! Let's go! Cowboys Nation represents! Cowboys Nation represents! Let's go! Get out of here!
Crack 'em if you got 'em.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. All day, every day.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, Seattle.
Here we are at Lumen Field. And is that a Harry Potter reference? Maybe. I don't know. I've casted a lot of Lumen spells.
Lumen videos.
We want to see Deuce represent. We want to see him repeat. I want them repeats. And I don't need 3 beats if they repeat.
I don't need 3 beats.
I don't need
if
3
they
beats.
repeat.
If they repeat. Let's go.
You don't think we're gonna make the postseason?
Maybe wild card.
So this is
Maybe wild card.
This is where I'm like, I'm good for a good ribbing, but like to say we're not gonna make the postseason, now I can't even argue with you. Because you've
Tough.
oh god.
You know it too. You know it.
Who's your quarterback?
Fucking you got it.
This is our year.
Look at those views. Look at those views. Look at those views. Look at those views. Let's go!
Let's go, Cowboys! Let's go, baby! Cowboys Nation showing up!
Most pristine athletes in modern history playing in the NFL. Even the offensive linemen are incredibly athletic. I mean, these guys are over 300 pounds, and you know they can
Not only the size, but the speed of the linemen. Are you kidding
fly
me?
on the field.
You're telling me a guy that's 330 pounds meant to block a guy that's 290 pounds is faster than me? A sporty 240?
High 240. High 240. High 240.
I could beat any one of those guys right now, and I've drank a 6-pack.
What? You're wearing Crocs!
My 40 time is better than any of them.
Erroneous! Erroneous!
Erroneous.
Erroneous on all accounts!
I've never been more sure of anything in my life.
How'd I do?
13-5.
Final quarter. Here we go, baby.
CD for the CD,
And I'm going for 2.
Woo!
I don't know why my safety was just playing off so far.
Tackle him!
Yeah, well, I might be a boomer, but you sound like a pipsqueak. You don't even know how old I am.
No!
You little shit. You didn't win the game, I lost it!
Make sure you know where he is, because he understands how to
Call
get
that a
open
throw?
in key situations.
Give him yours.
I might be old, but at least I don't still piss my pants.
Protect you and your loved ones with Crackem VPN.
Ever heard the game Marry, Kill? Okay, like I'm gonna give you 3 people, and you're gonna decide who will you marry, who will you who will you kill?
Okay.
Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott, and Tony Romo.
Marry Jerry. He's got all the monies. Probably Tony. Dak Prescott. Gotta kill him.
I'm gonna Romo.
She's gonna with Romo.
I'm gonna marry Dak.
She's gonna marry Dak.
I'm gonna kill Jones.
She's gonna kill Jerry Jones. Who will you marry, kill between Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott, and then Tony Romo?
I'm out.
Jerry Jones, you.
So Jerry?
Jerry Jones, you.
Okay.
You.
Who will you marry, Dak Prescott or Tony Romo?
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo.
So that means you would kill Dak?
Yes.
Marry Dak. Kill Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones, poor Jerry.
Tony Romo.
Why not? He's probably one of the best commentators, announcers on the game right now.
Tony Romo? That's mine. That's mine.
Jerry Jones, right now. Right now.
You heard it here, guys. You heard it.
We need trash can.
Oh, here we go.
AJ, you have to sleep in this for the night. Yep. Football we already got. AJ's trying to take a piss right now. Trash can.
Stickers.
Stickers.
Couple stickies.
Couple stickies?
Yes.
So we got a trash can. We're gonna go test it out in the toy aisle.
You're not getting it first. First try. He's not getting it. Give these guys a shot. They'll win a jersey if they get it. Oh, none of us made it. Come on, Dad. You get a free Cowboys jersey if you get it. None of us have made it. Dad's going for a shot. Come on, let's get it. Oh, that was the closest one.
Felt like the closest. Bro. Yeah. We all missed it, so don't worry about it. We missed it. You guys going to the game tomorrow? Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Us too.
Not only are we giving away 3 jerseys for whoever can toss a football into that can, we're also going to be leaving the can so someone can take that home too.
Look, there's still $15 right set.
What are you doing here?
Game day, baby.
Game day, baby. Woo!
Kickoff's a month away.
Yeah, but we gotta get our reps in.
Yeah. They train, we train. Crack 'em, bro.
No, it's 7:30 and it's a Wednesday.
Road pop?
Oh! No, I'm going to work and I'm driving. Get out of my car.
I believe we got him.
Super Bowl! Super Bowl! Super Bowl!
Let's get it.
Guys, can we just get one? I mean,
Let's just get one. Doing the Mojo moment. We got Dak Prescott in there. What they do is they're running one play, and then right after they just kick a field goal. TP20 to the
out
outside.
to the left, gets tackled
Swallowed
behind the
up.
line by Micah. Micah and his gang.
The linebacker.
The linebacker gets
So they're going to come back out. Again, it's going to be Aubrey. He missed his first field goal
Was it
attempt.
short or left?
Aubrey missed left. Let's see if he can put it through this time. It is
Short!
short.
What the f?
Over 3.
That was like a 50-yard field goal.
Oh, was it?
That was a 50-yard attempt.
Yeah, but it needed to be 54 yards.
I mean,
that's over
you
3.
still, you gotta at least get the distance.
Go for 2
You know,
next
get the
time.
distance.
Just go for the first down conversion. Kicking is still a big problem.
Yeah, you're gonna run into those, and it's the distance though. Accuracy, okay, you can miss that from 50. I'll give you that. But if you're not hitting it, if you're not kicking it 50 yards.
So the issue right now, that was the third Mojo moment and the third missed field goal attempt. We're gonna run out here and TV Tristan Viscano is gonna go for his second attempt.
You gotta go through all the motions, okay?
Yeah. So what they're doing, they're running the kicking team off. They're practicing in a last minute situation, having the kicking team try to get out there in time to kick a game winner. There's been no game winners kicked yet.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Here it is though. Let's go, Tristan!
Come on!
Here we go. He's hitting this. He's hitting this.
Yeah, what practice is for. Make your mistakes and then correct them.
He's gonna crank this one. He's gonna boot it, and that one is
far left.
Far
left!
Wide left.
Distance. He's got the distance.
I mean, I don't even know why I'm surprised anymore. Yeah.
So we just lost 4 games on game-winning kicks.
Crosby's available, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think.
Got to get someone. So yeah, he spikes it. Let's get
Aubrey back out.
Aubrey out for hopefully his first made field goal. 1. Here it is. Let's get it.
Guys, can we just get one? I mean,
let's just get one. Come on, Obs. Brandon? What's his first name? I mean,
Aubrey.
Aubrey?
I mean, he's kicking from the...
That's a nice kick. He got under it. That's good. Oh! That's one. That's one. That was a nice kick.
I don't think he has much leg though.
Now just
no, that was not.
Now just do that every other time.
Yeah, that was almost short.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it.
What you just did, just rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat. Okay,
TV lining up. He's 0-4-2 right now. This is his third attempt. Kicks it and
wide left.
Get him off
the field.
Go for 2.
This is looking not good.
Well, I mean, look.
I mean, at least it's not windy.
I'm going back to the car. I'm getting my jersey. I'm going in.
Yeah.
Boots is
hey,
in.
at this point, Boots.
His nickname's Boots. His nickname is Boots. He's got to be good at kicking.
I'm going in. I mean, I can't do any worse.
Yeah,
no
doubt,
practice my kicking.
Yeah, get your kicking game.
Get my jersey on.
Touchdown, baby!
John Stevens Jr. JSJ!
That little bastard! We are believers! Shelby.com. Let's go now, boys! Baby. To be quite honest, I've not seen enough of our boys out on the field who I want to see. So let's go. We've got fucking 1/2 left.
Be a fucking Eagle. Sorry, we're back. Well, Jalen Hurts wants to be a Cowboy. Like
Yeah, did you show him the picture?
Exactly. Like, what are you going on about?
Yeah.
These guys get drafted. That's their allegiance. They want to get fucking paid.
They could have had Michael.
They could have.
They could have had Michael.
Exactly.
They traded him. Do you remember they
traded with us?
With us.
With us.
Yeah. We were back at 13. He came up to 10.
And gave us Micah. You're mean! We're supposed to be practicing! We're supposed to be practicing! It's supposed to be fun! See the fact that I get it, Jalen Hurts had a great season last year. For me, before I crown him the best quarterback in the NFL, or the best person that's ever been in the NFC East, I need to see at least another season of him doing it. Like, I remember the same shit with Carson Wentz.
I think you see 16 games.
I need to see one. I need to see him beat Dak Prescott. He's never beat Dak Prescott.
Never.
I need to see it. Get it.
Toby.
That's Toby. Toby, I'm telling you. WR4. That's Tolbert. That's Tolbert. Get that first down. First down. I'm a massive Tony Romo fan, right? Cowboys kicking now. Start the fourth. We're down. We're not caring about the score. We want to see some fucking action, baby. We want to see some fucking plays. And right now, I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm going to be honest. I do not like what I'm seeing. That really throws a wrench. Just throw the fucking ball! Just throw the fucking... I don't even really... Now, the outcome of the game, I don't care about. I don't care about the preseason outcome. I care about Overshow's ACL. Right now, that's tough. Fucking nest in there? Like, no, look at his feet. Are you making a nest? He's like burrowing. Woo! Let's go! There is a flag. Could be on defense. Yeah, Tolbert! Toby, I told ya. Number 18.
I told you.
Number 18.
All right, so we're over here at SoFi Stadium. A lot of beautiful Cowboy fans coming through.
Hola, come on. Like, hey, get it.
It is getting wild out here at SoFi Stadium. We're doing shots. We got whiskey. It's going down. That's how Cowboy fans do it. All the CanFan maniacs out there. How about them Cowboys? We walked what I'm calling Dallas Cowboys corridor. As you can tell, we are at a Cowboys home game. Yes, I understand that we are in Los Angeles, Inglewood, technically SoFi Stadium, but this is basically AT&T West. So follow me this way. We're gonna see if we can find a couple of fans. We are infiltrating enemy territory. The Cowboy fans are doing it right. We got the signage, we got the great food, we got the inflatables. Thoughts on today's game? We're gonna beat the shit out of them. Woo! You see this right here? How do you feel about today's game?
We better win, that's all I know.
How do you feel about Dak Prescott after last week's performance?
Dak Prescott has been very consistent with the division.
Yeah. I can't even be excited to do this intro. What's going on? We got out of studio and Frozen. We got Barry Grant Jr., the Bandwagon Boys. I'm rolling through this intro like I'm just flabbergasted here, AJ. But I'll do my classic. Yeah, crack 'em if you got 'em. What?
You sound way too excited knowing the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. You are an Eagles fan. You are an Eagles fan in disguise because you are much too happy right now.
No, I'm on a pod. What's up?
Oh, see.
What's up? Yes, just throw it down. Okay. Love you.
This is
yeah, I love you too.
I love you too. This is the Wednesday.
Hi guys.
Hey, Barry Grant Jr. of the All Even podcast. Out of studio, and as you can see, he's going to be in and out, Frozen. Hey, listen, it's that weird time between the last championship games and the Super Bowl. So we're in this weird state, and that's why this episode's just such a
There's no rules.
episode.
No rules. If shit doesn't work properly, we're just gonna go with it. Fuck it. The goddamn Eagles are in the Super Bowl. Who cares?
Goddamn Eagles are in the Super Bowl.
And the Chiefs, man. The Eagles and the Chiefs. I mean, that's the elephant in the room, obviously. Of course.
Then we seen this shit 2 years ago. We don't want to see this shit again.
We saw this exact same Super Bowl 3 years ago. And as Cowboys fans, this has to be the worst Super Bowl matchup. Right?
Yeah. I agree.
Name a worse, from the AFC, the one team I didn't want to watch in the Super Bowl was the Chiefs. And from the NFC, the one team I didn't want to watch in the Super Bowl was the Eagles. For me, it's literally the worst Super Bowl matchup I could watch.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think because like you said, nobody wanted to see the Chiefs. Real football fans don't want to see the damn Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. We want to see them lose. We want to see them lose.
Yes,
But
but we can't now though. That's the catch-22. We
Right.
can't watch them
We have to root for them now.
Okay, so
We have to.
before we get into anything, and since we're talking about the Eagles, I was going to say, well, Barry technically can cheer the Eagles on if he wants, because technically,
No.
Okay.
No.
But what? So Barry, why
No.
why don't you give us? Because I butchered our fucking intro. Why don't you give everybody the 411 on what your thoughts are on the Cowboys and what you've declared?
So, 11 years ago, obviously I became a Cowboys fan full time. I've been a Cowboys fan my whole life, but I was more of a, fair weather type of Cowboys fan. I used to watch them and watch my other team. Well, things have transpired in Dallas that I don't like, and I don't see it happening or changing anytime soon. So I went home. Okay. I went back home. I'm back with the Jets. Because the way I see it, it's better to be with the devil that you know than the devil that you don't want to be with. Okay. And I'm sick of this. Brian Schottenheimer, I remember he was an OC with the Jets years ago. Now he's the coach. What? I'm out. I can't deal with it.
Barry's the third BWB, bandwagon Barry.
Yes.
Fourth BWB, because bandwagon Bob is the third BWB.
I'm the fourth. I will gladly take number 4.
Technically fifth because Riker's bandwagon boy.
Oh my.
Well, there you go. Well, I'll take 5 then. Yeah, I just keep moving. Down the totem pole.
So you've denounced the Dallas Cowboys.
I've denounced the Cowboys. I have. I can't do it anymore. I just can't.
I don't blame you, man.
It was a good ride, but the Dak thing was one thing, right? But here was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. It wasn't even the Brian Schottenheimer hire whoever the fuck you want to hire, right? But it's the constant gaslighting that we do. Like, we finished the season, Cowboys fans are up in arms. We're not happy. We want to see change. We want to see a culture shift. And Jerry says, yeah, I know how to get these guys back in the building. I know they don't want to buy their season tickets. So we're just going to float that Deion Sanders thing out there and see how all the Cowboys fans going to come back and be happy again. And what happened? All Cowboys fans were happy again. Oh, my God, we're going to get Deion Sanders. This is great. This is going to be so good. We're going to have a culture change. Is Jerry actually going to relinquish some of the power and control? Man, this is great. It's all bullshit. And it's constant bullshit year after year after year. The man didn't even offer Mike McCarthy a contract.
Oh, yep.
So why would you deny him access to go interview with the Bears? What are we doing?
Hey, whoa. You can't be throwing that we around.
Okay, hey, listen.
Sorry.
Mid BGJ rant. Crack him if you got him. I think that's. We haven't had one crack him if you got him here. Go ahead.
It's pain.
Barry, you gotta admit though, the bandwagon boys are looking pretty fucking dope in those jackets.
They look very hot.
They look good.
Very
That's
hot.
the tag team champs of the world right over there.
Yeah, especially AJ. AJ looks very handsome tonight. Love it.
Hey, man. I appreciate
And he's
it.
very quiet. AJ, how the hell are you doing? I think this is the most silent I've heard you.
Very somber.
In a minute or two at least.
Very somber.
No, I think I lost a little gas there, just waiting for through the technical issues. Stresses me out.
Crack him if you
got
him.
Crack me, got him.
Hey, I'm crack me if you got him.
I just poured him a double with 1.5
get him a
ounce
triple.
shot glass. So
I'm here.
Get him a triple.
I'm here.
Get him a triple. Remember, and just this is kind of a little side quest. Don't you remember our first year when we weren't doing live shows yet, but it would take us 2 hours to get to just recording? And now it's like, if we're like kind of running 10 minutes late, we're all like, oh shit. I was out of studio, so I mean, I was just sitting over here kind of drinking in the hotel room, just chilling, but I could tell that the bandwagon boys were feeling it, but we made it. That's all that matters is we made it.
Yeah, when Anth's out of studio, it gets a little hectic here.
Chaotic?
Yeah. But hey, whatever. It's Wednesday. Cowboys aren't in the playoffs. We have
You guys look dope.
We look dope. We have a new head coach. We're about to see the Eagles compete in the Super Bowl. So there's other things we can be worried about. But I just wanted to get that out there that Barry Grant Jr. is officially not a Cowboys fan anymore.
Yes.
But still a day one, and he's always welcome on the show.
Yeah,
regardless.
I mean, listen, just because I'm not really a fan, I'm still going to be watching. Still going to be watching you guys, and I'm still going to be criticizing Dallas, and I want to see them do well. That's the one thing is that I would never say, oh fuck that. I want to see them do well, but man, so many things have to happen for that to happen.
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
Unfortunately.
Wage, what do we got on the docket for tonight there, kiddo?
Oh, not that. That's just yeah.
Oh no, I was just looking to see what we got.
That's a dick
okay,
pic.
sorry. I just brought up the Eagles and Chiefs, which I don't want to necessarily dive into at all. I think we said enough already about it. But no, here's the big news is obviously Schottenheimer was hired, and then on top of that, there were a couple of other major hires, which is nice to see, just to check them off. The special teams coordinator, the hell was his name? He came Nick Sorensen, which when I saw that, I thought it was a joke because of the comedian Nick Sorensen. I was like, okay, what is this? Some AI or meme or something like this?
Yeah, you thought you were on a meme page?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell am I? Well, it was just the name, and I was like, huh, this has got to be fake. But apparently, so he was the defensive coordinator for San Francisco last year, and he is now the special teams coordinator for Dallas. I guess it's looked at as a sideways step.
Do you think he's stepping? Is he going down to go back up? Is that the move there?
Well, we got a couple guys that are doing that. We are DCs, and I know you're going to jump into more names, but
yeah,
unfortunately,
if you know him, spit him off.
Well, Matt Eberflus or whatever, however the fuck you say
Eberflus.
He's going from a head coach to a defensive coordinator, right? And then we got a guy going from defensive coordinator to special teams. And the fact is, the San Francisco 49ers defense wasn't that great last year. So hopefully this guy is decent at special teams because I like John Fossil, who the Cowboys lost to the Titans.
Yeah, Bones is gone, man. That hurts.
Bones is gone. And there was an article coming out saying that Bones was telling everybody, or he was reportedly saying he was going to trade for Brandon Aubrey and try to do whatever he could to get Brandon Aubrey to the Titans. So that kind of hit the news cycle a bit. But I mean, a special teams coordinator, the Cowboys, I think that was the only good thing about the Cowboys team this year. Like between the offense, defense, and special teams, the special teams was always ranked top 10, if not top 5, a lot of the weeks. So that's got to be a loss losing John Fossil.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there was also, I believe it was maybe just in the last 3 hours, or at least this is when the post was from Dallas Cowboys. They hired linebackers coach Dave Borgonzi, defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton, and defensive passing game coordinator Andre Curtis. And I believe, Curtis and another of these guys came from the Bears as well. So they have that connection with Eberflus. So those are the hires.
Eberflus was a shitty head coach. So most guys that were coordinators that turned into shitty head coaches tend to be pretty decent coordinators when they go back to just being one side of the ball or whatever it is, just kind of being in their little cubicle. So hopefully he can be able to be effective in that role. But this is literally like it's the opposite of a who's who staff. It's like, what the fuck, right? But it's one of those wait and see type of things, right? Like you can't really criticize it because you just need to see how it materializes. So it's just one of those things where Cowboys fans just need to be like, okay, well, let's see what happens rather than say, oh, this is a shitty hire, because we really don't know.
And
That's totally.
I like the head coach aspect of it, whether he was good or bad at being a head coach. I don't think that means that he'll be a good or bad coordinator, but I like that they have had that experience, at least two of the guys who are running the special teams and defense. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it could be a bad thing, and we just have to wait and see. Schottenheimer, though, he's the culture guy. Whether you like the culture that he'll bring to the Cowboys or not, that's from what the press conference and kind of the things that I've seen, that's what he brings. And so we do need some guys in there who really know football. And I'm not saying that he doesn't know football, but the more minds, as long as everyone's on the same page, the merrier. This is the chance, though. We wanted the refresh. You wanted the culture guy. Not like I'm saying that was a large voice online, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is Jerry Jones's answer to that. And I think, in fairness, whether we like it or not, I want to give these guys the best shot and make them feel loved in Dallas so that they put their best, foot forward. But the rope has got to be short. You gotta think.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem when you kind of I think if you look at under Mike McCarthy, the one thing about Schottenheimer, outside of him never being a head coach, which again, you haven't been a head coach. You at one point someone has to give you the opportunity. He's getting the opportunity, but the one thing where you're looking at it under the Mike McCarthy, he wasn't really the offensive play caller, so he was the buddy guy. He was the culture guy. The challenge is, what's the transition now going to look like when he gets to a head coach? Can he still be a guy to a degree, but also start to get his team to be a bit more disciplined? Can we have the Cowboys looking up and respecting him, or are they is he gonna be like that substitute teacher who's now the interim head coach, and players might possibly take advantage of him? I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but there is that sense that if you are a little too buddy with these guys, it's, hey, why are you getting down on me? Like, I'm not going to listen to you. You're supposed to be my pal, not my HC.
Fire someone. Day one, fire someone.
I think my opinion with Shotty is that, like I said, I'm coming from experience, right? So I've seen this guy in the highest of highs with the Jets, and from like 2008 to 2010-ish, where he was supposed to be the guy. They actually had him pegged as being the front runner for the job, and then Rex came out of nowhere and took the job from him, right? And then he stayed around, was the OC, was like the assistant head coach, and he has some qualities that people like. And I think, we heard that him and Dak are very, very close, and Dak supports him fully. So that can be something good, but it also can be what you were saying, Ad, right? Where it's a little too friendly, too buddy, where maybe this guy is not the disciplinarian that you need him to be. Whether it's like, his first job, he's buddy with the quarterback, he's going to kind of kowtow and maybe try to appease everybody instead of really laying down the law like he's the head coach. So we got to see what he actually does and how they perform. And the best way to see that is how they are prepared to play week in and week out. Are they starting sluggish like we always see with different coaching regimes? Are they paying attention to detail? Are we still having delayed games where guys if we're starting to see those things, if those things can be able to get cleaned up, then maybe he does have a shot to be a good coach going forward.
I couldn't agree more with you. Everything you said, you nailed it out of the park. The one crazy thing about him becoming the head coach, like Barry said, and Ad also touched on it, is he doesn't have the experience that you would like as some of the other candidates had going into the head coaching position. And I was pissed when I heard last Friday night that he was hired. I was pretty pissed off about it. I made a video basically saying next year was a wash. But after kind of watching some of his press conferences and stuff, I have to admit he's won me over a tiny little bit, right? And what's really going to make me cement my opinion on his hiring is who they take in the first round this year. That's going to really, really make me decide if I like him or not. If they don't go for the best person that's available at the time, and they do something crazy, I'm just going to think he's another Jerry's puppet. But if they go out and get a really solid piece then I'm going to think maybe he has some sway. That's the main thing I'm worried about the hiring is he's just going to be another. He got hired because he's willing to put up with Jerry's bullshit.
That's how I felt as well too. Yeah.
You know, Ultra Cowboy makes a good point. He does have more experience than Ben Johnson and fucking Captain Dork from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It does feel nice.
Can we please get that Liam Cohen clip up at some point? It doesn't have to be right now. But that is one of the most.
Which one? The Duval?
That is one of the cringiest things I've ever. Dude, I put it on and I thought it was like AI.
Yeah.
Like AJ said earlier, he thought AI about something. I thought it was someone making an AI video. He looks like a creepy AI character. And then Duval. I'm like, oh,
Duval. It's
he looks like a contestant off of America's Got Talent.
But I mean, like, so you bring up a good point. Sorry, AJ just
get him on the screen.
Okay,
get him on the screen. Let's get him on the screen here.
Is this it? What is Duval?
That's the place where Jacksonville.
Duval's the county.
Duval County. Yeah.
There he is. Zoom, fucking blow this guy up.
Duval.
Oh no.
Duval.
Oh no.
Because that's what all the Jags fans and stuff cheer Duval, and it's like Ad had mentioned a dorky teacher coming in or something. He's like that dorky teacher trying to win over the classroom by being cool.
100%.
It missed. It completely
100%.
missed.
You know, I have I don't know, a little what you'd call it, sympathy or empathy when I see that, because I'm like, it's like his biggest day in his life.
I know.
And he's even walking into the building.
Yeah, that was a funny one.
And he was like, oh, hey, hi. Just how? Like, you could tell he was like extremely nervous, excited, whatever. And so, like, I'm like, I can relate to that. Be like, yeah, man, I would be too. But it's a bad look just in general.
Well, that one
it doesn't show the composure,
Well,
maybe, or if you see cracks, it's kind of a little scary.
He can only go up from here because it literally is everywhere about how much of a dork this guy can be, and it's like whatever. It's gonna show whether or not like it's gonna be. It's good.
The comment was 0-17, by the way, for that.
Oh man, but like
I mean, look. You know, Nick Sirianni had a very cringe press conference too, and he's doing all right for himself.
Yeah, he did. He had one of the worst opening press conferences as a head coach, and I was like, oh, I was cheering. I was stoked. I was like, oh, this fucking knob is the Eagles' next head coach, and yeah, they're going to their second Super Bowl. So
and think of if the Lions didn't have success or weren't as successful as they were, some of Dan Campbell's.
Right. Oh yeah. Not his. He was very cringy too. Yep.
But it worked out for him, and now you can make these super cuts where he looks really cool.
I just want
the only difference is I don't think I could beat up Dan Campbell.
No,
I think I could take Liam Cohen.
Okay, I wanted to say, because Ants was talking about you'll take shoddy serious depending on what they do on draft day. Ultra's putting a name out there that I like, that it sounds like it's circulating on who's going to be the next OC, looking to hire the offensive line coach from Arizona, Clayton Adams. So when you talk about like what are they gearing up for, and we're hearing like, oh, Shoddy wants to have a really strong run game, they bring on this guy from Arizona who had some very solid run production out of Arizona for the team, and then they draft a running back in like one of the top 2 or 3 rounds. Like, then that's probably one of those reassurance saying, okay, maybe they are shifting to have a really dominant run game. They are putting the right offensive weapons in place. You get a running back and a wide receiver in the top rounds. I mean, all signs are pointing to what they're going to be going to try and do this year. They're going to try to make a big run at it, right?
Totally. And one of our biggest issues last year was it seemed like they just weren't trying to run enough. Granted, a lot of games they were being blown out, so they had to get rid of the running game. But on this last Sunday, we watched the Eagles rush for 7 touchdowns in a game. The Cowboys had 6 all season. So to kind of get someone that's going to focus on the running game and then draft a running back, because this draft is heavily favored in some very decent college stud running backs, that would make me extremely happy. I would love to see a more balanced offense and take some of the pressure off Dak Prescott. Don't have him going out to throw 40 times a game. Try to get him back down to where he's good, where he's throwing 20 to 30 times a game. And I know people are going to say, well, you're paying him this much money to throw the ball. It's like, well, no, I want to see him win football games.
Yep.
Yeah, I second that. I think, Shotty definitely does have an understanding of balance in regards to being able to run the football and know his schemes have been very, very effective over the years with other teams, the Jets, other teams that he's been on. So this is something that he can definitely instill with the Cowboys. And look, the formula for throwing the ball less and running the ball more has worked for Buffalo this year. Yeah, they came up short against the Chiefs, but they kind of took the reins away from Josh Allen this year a lot and allowed them to run the football a lot more, right? So when you keep his attempts down, you kind of keep the mistakes at a minimum, right? So, I think that's Dak's formula. Don't let him throw the ball too much, and then you can be able to limit those mistakes. So if they can be able to have a strong running game, I think the Cowboys would be better suited that way.
I have to sometimes pause to see if Ant's going to say anything because it's a frozen face Ant up there. So I don't know if I don't know. He looks like someone's like, just stand there, make sure you're showing a quality of life picture here.
It looks like a cop in that picture.
Yeah. Ant's on another
license
stakeout.
and registration, chicken fucker.
Yeah, Ant's on another stake. But yeah, if we look at the teams that had decent quarterbacks and you look at their run game, that was one thing that we screamed about all last season is why are we not or even this season, give underproduction from our run game. No one seemed to have an idea of what to do with Rico Dowdle until until we were out of the playoffs, and then all of a sudden Rico comes out and he becomes
crazy.
Yeah, he becomes this massive person. So yeah, I think getting a solid offensive coordinator or somebody to be on that side of the ball with Shotty, and then pulling up some of these solid offensive weapons in the draft will be something where I'll feel a bit better about this.
I'm just looking at something for us to move on to.
Okay.
Maybe if we're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking until you were ready.
Okay. Well, I'm just the next thing that really comes after the coaches, and there's still some things to be checked off there, is what the Dallas Cowboys do in free agency is going to kind of change, I guess, maybe what we currently think about what they will do in the NFL draft. And I think, that's for all teams, very obvious. But one thing that almost is shocking is the amount of free agents that the Dallas Cowboys have coming up. And there's no way that they're going to possibly be able to sign them all, especially with some of the guys like Osei Odigizua and who's another guy on
Jordan Lewis.
Jordan Lewis. Probably for what old Jerry, maybe we've got new Jerry. I'm not counting on it, but definitely wouldn't be hiring those guys for the price that they're going to be asking for or demanding or just deserving. But at the end of the day, there's something like 22. Let me go down and get the exact number.
That's a lot.
That's a
shit ton.
It's a shit ton. And when I show you so 20 2 restricted free agents and 22 UFAs.
That's crazy.
And then
that's insane.
Even worse, let's just look at this section right here, which is if I can zoom out a little, our defensive line, linebackers, and cornerbacks. Now, not every guy I guess you would want to bring back, but when you look at those are still holes that need to be filled on this defense.
They all put, you just quickly even just glance over those names. They all put in a very big percentage of playing time this year. They really did. You look at the defensive line, I'd say 60% of them. DeMarcus Lawrence obviously hurt, but he was a starter.
Yeah.
Carl Lawson ended up coming in and doing pretty well as a guy that shouldn't even have been on the starting date game roster. Osa Odigizua priced himself out of Dallas with a great season. And then even like Linval Joseph, who's an older dude, but stepped in and played decent because everyone else was hurt. So you even just look at the defensive line, and it's kind of a microcosm of the whole team. There's just depth and starters all mixed in that are all going to be unrestricted free agents. And you're probably only going to be able to keep one of the 3 guys that you want.
If they, want to come back and don't decide to go elsewhere.
If they don't decide to go to the Commanders.
Yeah. But that's just the defense here. I'll quickly go up to our offensive well, which is a little less scary, I guess. Still got some key guys on the O-line. Obviously, Zach Martin's getting a little long in the tooth. Cooks, I don't know, he's probably really a fence sitter or like a 50-50 if you want to bring him back or not. But again, just because it's a position to fill. And
Cooks
then
is cooked.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'd like to move on from him for sure. And then Rico Dowdle, who I think you got to try to run it back with him out of everyone on this list. Quarterbacks, I believe you can go and find someone who can replace Lance and Rush. Maybe not Lance. It's the contract. That's what I'm talking about. So maybe Lance gets out into free agency. There's an opportunity to bring him back. And, I wouldn't be actually against that.
You just don't want to sign a big contract with him.
You couldn't take him on the contract that he had. It's like a $20 million contract.
I mean, if he can sign for anywhere between, $7 and $8 million, maybe. Even Cooper Rush. I think Cooper Rush has proven that he can be a backup quarterback for a team that, may be able to give him a chance. If the QB1 is a little shaky. So I think he might finally leave Dallas.
Yeah.
And explore other opportunities. What do you guys think that Rico Dowdle will be able to get on the open market? You think he's worth more than $5 million a year?
I think on an open market, possibly. Do I think he's worth it? Yeah, I do. I mean, he showed last year that he could be a capable running back in the NFL. He doesn't have that big burst playability, but the guy just does not ever lose yards. It always seems like he's always moving forward. He's good in the passing game when he had opportunities. So I do think a team will pay him over $5 million, but I don't think it's going to be Dallas, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
If I'm the Cowboys and I plan on using one of my top 3 picks on a running back being like, if it gets down to it on our 3rd round pick and we haven't taken a running back, we're taking the next best running back on the board. If that's the mentality, I would be willing to pay a little bit more for Rico over a 3-year contract because I can kind of offset that with the rookie and say, okay, I'm not paying as much right now. That being said, I think Rico Dowdle could probably get like a $6.5 million per year from a team who saw what he did and want to add that to him. I don't know that he would go for it. And I think $5 million is probably a good a good average for him. I try to do a 3-year deal with him just so you have that have those couple years with him in the rookie and see who does better. If the rookie doesn't pan out, okay. Also, free agency is there too for another running back that could help out. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts on Rico. I would have him high on my list for who the Cowboys should bring back.
Do you think that do you think that if they don't re-sign him before the draft, that we're going to be looking for multiple running backs this draft class?
He'll be signed if the Cowboys don't go after him, I think.
Yep.
For sure.
Oh, totally. He ain't making it. He ain't making it on the free agent market by draft in my mind. And it might not be the Dallas Cowboys, but there's a lot of teams out there with a lot of money to float around.
Hey.
And I know I talked about the Commanders before. The Commanders have a lot of money. Austin Eckler is old as balls. You could see the Commanders taking a fucking push at him.
I think the Giants as well. The Giants might take a look at him as well.
Yeah, the Giants. The Giants need to rebuild their entire team.
Yeah, Dowdle will be 27 entering next season, so you get 3 years out of him on any contract you sign with him. And he had his best season last year, and he's not had a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah, the fact that he didn't get many touchdowns, obviously his yardage, his production was good for when you kind of look at the tail of the tape. So there's a big possibility that a team, if he does hit free agency, a team could get him for a bargain deal, or they sign. But like Ant was saying, the teams out there that have that cap space might just say, "Fuck it, let's give him the money because we think we'll give him a 3-year contract for X $1 million, and he comes out on top." Right. Hopefully Dallas does keep him. I think having him as a running back and then picking up a very solid back, whether or not it's Gianti or Trayvon Henderson or one of the other 10 other running backs that we should be gunning for if one of those guys aren't available. You know what I mean? So I think I'm a big fan of keeping Rico Dowdle as well. I think he should be a re-signing. It's just how much money is he going to want? Obviously, he might take a little bit less because it's in Dallas. It's a team-friendly deal if they sign him for 3 years, 4 years.
But either way, re-sign Rico or not, you have to draft a running back. Even if you re-sign him, I think we're all in agreement that you still have to sign a running back. This draft class is pretty loaded with running backs, and the Cowboys whiffed last year in the draft by not getting a running back. There was a bunch of good running backs last year, and did Dallas learn from it? I don't know. We'll see. And either way, with or without Rico, we need a running back.
You learn from the 49ers that depth at your running back position is very, very important.
Oh yeah, it seemed like anyone that lined up at halfback for them was just bumping out yards.
Yeah,
because they kept drafting guys no matter what every year. Barry, in the last 5 years, the only Dallas Cowboys running back drafted has been Deuce Vaughn.
Wow,
that's ridiculous.
That is amazing.
It's gross.
Our boy,
amazing.
Our boy EJ Savage of Boys in the Zone, fellow grid member, says, "I'd rather double dip on a running back. Also, the UDFA running backs will have draftable grades this year as well."
And you kind of said that. You kind of said that too.
Thank you.
Yeah, like whether you draft one or you sign them as undrafted free agents, like you have to get some depth. They have to get some guys that can be able to, really have some potential to be starters or contributors during the season, not just flyers. Like there's always good running backs out there, and you always have to dip into the pool. And for whatever reason, the Cowboys haven't done that. I don't get it.
Just looking at the amount of free agents and doing a lot of assuming, they're not going to be able to sign. Even if they sign 50% on offense, 50% on defense, there's going to be a lot more holes to fill on D. My mind starts to wander with EJ's comment being like, okay, well, maybe just supersize the offense this year, knowing we might have an 8-9 season if we're lucky.
Yep.
6-10, or whatever, 7-10. Sorry. And then next season, going after those defensive holes, get a running back and then get a UDFA running back too if he's available, and let's just see which cream rises to the top.
Yep.
And then go with a wide receiver early on as well. They're sexy picks, so that's going to satisfy a lot of people's itch. But I also think it's at least you can kind of really say, okay, now we've got an offense, or you'll know what you get from those guys, and if they're good enough to move forward, and then focus on defense. So do you have like a 50% effort for defense this year, 50% next year, but go all in on offense when it makes the most sense?
Right.
Even if it doesn't make the most sense.
Well, if you're looking, it does make sense, because if you look at the Cowboys roster, and I know a lot of people are going to be kind of swayed or polarized when I say this, but your superstars are on offense. I don't care what anyone says. Dak Prescott is a big name and is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Those are hard to come by. CeeDee Lamb was still a top 5 wide receiver this season, and he had no place being a top 5 wide receiver. So you still have a couple weapons there. Bring in, say, like AJ had mentioned, a top wide receiver and a top running back, and then maybe another tackle or a guard to throw in the mix. And yeah, just try to spearhead the offense. And if we're gonna lose, let's at least lose excitingly.
Yeah. Yeah, let's have, if we're down by whatever 19 in the fourth, at least we can get some big plays. Look at what Xavier, now obviously I know he's on the Kansas City Chiefs, but Xavier Worthy. What round did he go in? It was late, like fourth
thought
or
it was like
fifth.
one. No, he was round one.
It
He was round one.
Shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
first round.
Well, that is
Fastest,
he went late.
fastest man on the planet, late round 1.
He went late in the first round because he was taken by the Chiefs. But yeah, he was a first round pick.
Right, but still, my point was going to be that I think that people passed on him, but I guess 31 other teams did. But the more important point was he's just an electric player, a difference maker. The things that he can do out on the field that no one else can do. If we can get a dude like that, or just a CD Lamb too, would be nice too. And I hear that comparison to the Ibuka or Igboka.
No, you're right on the first one, Ibuka.
Yeah, I think AJ is onto something. I think the Cowboys, they need to start going after electric offensive players, guys that are fast, guys that can be able to, get the ball in space and see if things happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's where the game is going. You don't want any plotting wide receivers. You don't want a guy, he's 6'4". Like, I don't give a shit about that. Like, get a guy that can be able to create something on a curl around end route or whatever it is, and get it on a screen and make something happen. Like, get some fast guys that can be able to be creative, where you can be able to have a multifaceted, multi-dynamic style offense.
Yeah, Brent Packer guy says the Cowboys have a lot of offensive talent. What y'all don't have is a mean O-line. It doesn't matter what wide receiver, running back you have if you can't pass block for crap and your running back has no holes to exploit.
That's true.
And then the other name, because we talked about running back and wide receiver going into this draft, Ultra Cowboy keeps bringing up Tyler Warren. Ultra Cowboy's a tight end himself.
Oh, yeah.
But former tight end, Ultra Cowboy is how I'm going to start to refer him as. We like Tyler Warren. What would you guys think if we drafted a tight end? I mean, still an offensive weapon. He can still block on the line if you need him to.
I guess to answer that, I would just say I would prefer to get both if you can.
Yeah.
But just a game changer or electric receiver, that could be a tight end too. And maybe that's a Tyler Warren type guy. I'm not sold on our tight end group. I think everyone is adequate enough to play in the NFL. But are we waiting another season for Ferguson to step up and go? Like,
no. I mean,
I think 12's. I think 12's too high to draft a tight end.
I wasn't thinking first round for tight end. No.
If you could trade back, say to like 17, and get Ty Warren, and then pick up like a decent pick in the early third or late second. Well, we got a lot of holes to fill, right? Like we're an OnlyFans chick. We need to get as many of these draft picks as possible. So I would rather that, like trading back and getting Ty Warren, than outright straight taking him at 12, because there's just, in my mind, at 12, there's going to be multiple electric wide receivers. There's going to be good defensive players. There's going to be there's going to be difference makers.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the fact of the matter. At 12, look at the last time the Cowboys picked around this. They drafted Micah Parsons. There's going to be talented players at that point. I don't know if I want to get a tight end at that spot, if that makes any sense. I want speed. I want someone that's, their measurables are off the charts, kind of like we were just discussing.
But I do think we all agree, though, an elite tight end, if you could, lucky enough to fast forward the year and see how everyone pans out, that would help any football team. So we wouldn't be upset with that. But I agree. I am also not against the trade back if that's the way to go too. If you can pick up another second round pick with a trade back and only maybe go back to late teens, 17, 18, 19, I'd be really into that.
Yep. I put up Ant's laughing at the comment I put up from Brent Packer guy.
What?
OnlyFans ? Is that why Anth is at a hotel with allegedly a bad connection? Let me look. Cowboy Anth only feet.
It's disgusting.
So
guilty. So it should be Cowboy Anth Hobbit feet.
Ultra Cowboy says, and I'm glizzing Ultra Cowboy now. Man,
he's been gone for a while. We haven't had an Ultra run in for a bit.
And I do like what he's saying here. Man, why couldn't Brock Bowers come out this year? Brock went 13th last year. He's a stud. He put up 1,000 yards, all pro, and he had a booty quarterback throwing to him. So, and he was saying,
you makes a good point. you get a generational guy like Brock Bowers. Everybody knew that Brock Bowers was going to step into the NFL and be special.
Yep.
You know, is there that guy this year where you know that he's guaranteed going to be special like that? Now at the tight end position, I don't think that it's going to be an immediate impact guy like a Brock Bowers. So because of that, if you are going to reach for a tight end, it's not this year. So if you want one, it would be better to just trade back so you can be able to get more assets.
I do think that Warren's gonna go fourth round, but like he said, it's probably gonna be 17 to 20 in that kind of area. Like he probably will go late first round, but he'll get nabbed up. I bet you. I do see him having a very solid season. I wouldn't be mad.
He'll fall to the Chiefs.
Yeah. The Travis Kelce replacement. Hey, you know what?
Gray's already there.
Yo, listen, don't wish that on us.
I know.
Yeah, right.
Don't do that shit.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Gray's already at the Chiefs, though, Anthony. I mean, they might.
That's true.
Just last point here on tight ends. Oscar Porini says, I don't know what that is.
Ultra. I've been saying for 2 years about tight end situation.
I thought that was Ultra.
Ulre. I've been saying Ulre. So tight end situation. Look at Brady with Gronk and Mahomes with Kelsey. They never had great wide receivers except for the year he had Moss.
Now, very true. But the only thing I want to say is, you know, Gronk and Mahomes, Gronk and Kelsey are on a bit of a different tier than I think 90%,
like
99% of.
Those are generational tight ends.
Those are top 5 tight ends of arguably of all time. Those two really. If you look at if you break down stats and Super Bowls, those guys are. If you're making the why can't I think of the stupid face fucking Cliff?
Get those feet out.
Get
those feet out of your face, Anth.
If you're thinking of the Rushmore,
Ant's painting his toes right now, and he's just like got sidetracked.
Well, it was funny because in post in pre-game when we're trying to get this fucking technical bullshit, Ant's changing cameras and it got frozen on this like upshot of him, and it looked like I was from a tow cam.
You do not want to see this.
You don't want to see this.
But okay, so there's 2 restricted free agents that I want to bring up, but I also, this is fine here.
Are you keeping Turpin? Are you keeping Turpin this year?
Yes.
Well, that's the question. There's Turpin and Marquise Bell, restricted free agents.
Can you guys explain to me what a restricted free agent is? The Cowboys just get the first chance at them?
Restricted free agents mean that they're not really free agents. So teams can be able to offer them contracts and you can be able to match.
Okay.
Yeah, and also, if I'm getting this projected tender amount, and it wouldn't be relevant, I don't believe, for either Turpin or Bell, but if someone signs someone who was a first, second, or third round, I think you get something back.
Some compensation picks.
Yeah, some compensation pick there. And maybe all restricted free agents do. I don't know. But anyways, out of both of those, Turpin, you definitely want him back. You keep bringing him back until his legs fail him, and that's the truth. Like, his weapon is his speed. The other nice thing though is that we saw him a little bit more doing some fun stuff with Dallas. Of course, it wasn't too often. But I'd like to see, look, if he's gonna take up a roster spot, get him in the game more often than, even if he's not gonna be utilized, just so when you do utilize him, you trick the defense a little bit more, if that's the point of doing these trick plays with him. So,
well, and not even that though, AJ. Like, 2 of the most exciting plays this year were Turpin plays. The play of him, the spin move against Washington on a kickoff return to bring it to the house to essentially win the game. Like, that was one of the most memorable moments of a very unmemorable season.
We wrote an entire song for him that you can still get post-holiday season on Cowboys CanFan Spotify.
True that. It's for Christmas. And finally, I'm going backwards here, guys. Sorry. The exclusive rights free agents, where I don't understand this at all, but that's Hoffman, Tyrus Wheat, and One-Way Thomas. So
Brock Hoffman would like to get him back. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, so EFRAs don't have nearly the freedom to negotiate with other teams as restricted free agents. So Hoffman, Wheaton, Thomas don't have a lot of options. They basically got I guess it's kind of like almost a team deal that you would have, or a team pick.
Brent Packer guy.
How do you become this though? Like, I don't understand. And is it just that when you first sign, like your rookie contract, this is kind of written into it a little bit?
Well, were Hoffman, Wheat, or Thomas, if you just know off the top of your head or chat, were they all unrestricted free agents? And that might have something to do with it. Like,
yeah, it could be.
Sorry. They were, undrafted.
Undrafted. So then you can basically claim a player's rights for longer.
BPG saying it's secured years in contract status. Ultra Cowboys saying exclusive rights basically means you're not a free agent. And then ERFA means that you have to take the contract if you offer them one. It's a set price.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, and look, Hoffman could be that dog. Do I think he's the answer? No, but you
good energy. That's that meanness that we want from him.
Exactly. If you can, and I'm not saying he's a Martin replacement, but if Martin is not coming back and Hoffman can plug that hole for another season and do it well enough, even if not, I think you bring him back. But at least he can fill that void, and he might turn out to be some guy who, you re-sign again after this season if he can pull it off.
Listen, we have holes to fill.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's worth giving a shot.
I like that Barry.
Throw as many darts at the board as you can.
I like that Barry's still saying we. I appreciate that. hey, I appreciate that, Barry.
I support the Cowboys, baby. I just can't stay.
This is a safe spot for Barry. He can say we about the Cowboys all day.
And those who are like, oh yeah, what? You're saying we? Except for us, we'll say it to you though.
I can come in here and cheat on my team all day. Yeah. Nobody will notice.
Yeah, this is we're your mistress zone.
Actually, Barry, before we just hop over, because I do have something else for us to touch on, and it has to do with a guy that goes with the initials S.J.
Stephen Jones.
Damn it.
Sorry.
What's happening in the news of the Jets, coach wise, and I guess player? Is there anything
that you're excited about?
Big that's come out that you're excited
Big time excited for Aaron Glenn. I think Aaron Glenn had one of the best press conferences I've seen in regards to Jets press conferences. You know, it's up there with Rex Ryan. It's up there with Herm Edwards. He had a very, very no nonsense, don't fuck around with me type of situation. Like they were even asking him some questions afterwards about I think it was it Aaron? And he was just like, look, I already answered this question. So if you're gonna ask me any more Aaron questions, I'm not gonna do that. Like y'all not gonna play with me. So I'm like, oh, I like this guy already. Like he knows New York. He's been here. He got drafted. He played here for 8 years. He was a scout here, so he knows the city a lot, and he knows how to handle the media. And that's the type of guy that we need here in New York because, you know, the last guy that was like that, Rex Ryan, was pretty successful early on. The other guy was Herm Edwards. He was pretty good. So, you know, I think he has a very good track record. I like his coaches. I like what they're doing. And it sounds like they're going to have Aaron Rodgers back, which actually makes a lot of sense if you're trying to win right away. So, you know, that makes sense.
Yeah, have Aaron Rodgers back and draft a guy. Right?
Exactly. Draft a guy.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Exactly. Draft a guy and let Aaron, you know, mentor that guy for a year or two and give him the reins.
When did the Jets? What is their pick? Sorry, Ad, I keep cutting you off.
Yeah, fuck you, Ed. You fucking
have top. I think there's 7. I think they're either 7
nice.
to 6 or 7, something like that.
You guys are gonna get. Are you hoping for Shador or Cam Ward? Either of those guys?
They're not gonna drop that low. I want a defensive lineman. I want a guy that's gonna be on the edge.
Abdul Carter, maybe if you.
Love a Carter, or if they can go O-line, that would be good for me as well.
Yeah, you know, even with because obviously Cowboys just have the biggest media, but those New York teams, they're still whether they're being talked about or not. Yeah, good or bad, being talked about or not. locally, and it's a big state, they're probably getting pounded. Like with the media lives there, essentially, right? So
I mean, listen, we're the stepchildren to the Buffalo Bills now. First time since the early '90s. So it's just fucking weird, but it's fine.
No, I think it must just like how we're feeling with the Cowboys, maybe not as elated as you, but at least it's like this fresh start. There's a lot of things that we asked for that we're getting, right? Okay, well, here's your culture guy, here's the fresh start, and might not have been exactly what we wanted, but just that feeling is like, okay, it's the same maybe thing that you're having over there with the Jets as well, where it's like, okay, something new here coming.
No, that's a good point. And the thing is, too, for the Cowboys fans that are in here, obviously everybody's in here that are Cowboys fans, but this shoddy thing, and I love the way you guys always put a positive spin on things, because there's a lot of times where in Cowboys Nation, things can get very, very bleak. And you can go down a dark path really quick in regards to feeling sorry for yourself and being so pissed off with the team. But sometimes there's a move that's made that's not a fancy move, that's not an impressive move in the public eye, but it's just what the team needs. And who the hell knows? Maybe Shoddy is the guy. Quietly, it's a boring hire. It's a vanilla hire, but it might just be exactly what the Cowboys need, because Cowboys Nation has been looking for that big splash, but maybe this is not what you really need. Maybe it's time to kind of fly under the radar a little bit, retool this shit, and do it the right way. And then when the team gets to a point where it's ready to contend, now you can be, big bright lights and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jerry's never going to agree to that, but you speak too much sense for him to understand.
that was too much sense, right?
Yeah. Barry, Brent Packer guy says, look at the upside. In 12 to 14 years, you'll have Jordan Love as your quarterback.
That's a good one. That is funny. Definitely Jordan's Love. His fate is to come to the Jets. Absolutely.
And then Ultra Cowboy says the Jets won the Super Bowl when the first man landed on the moon. Allegedly.
Allegedly, the Jets won.
No, allegedly. Yeah.
We're not touching it. We're not touching it.
So, as much as
why are you showing us a Michael Keaton clip?
Is this AI's aged Michael Keaton to be some sort of executive?
This is
when did this dude get so fucking old? My God.
Yeah, why does he look older than Jerry?
Jesus Christ.
I think it's the glasses.
And why is he so red?
Yeah.
That's just he must be doing some sort of needle therapy. I'm not sure. But no,
he just took some cocaine in the back. That's what
bucking it up.
So we were talking, and you made a good point there, Barry. Trying to give it a good spin, not in a way of like, but hey, let's wait and see how things happen. And I think now this year on this hire, for myself, anyways, I don't want to speak for every bandwagon boy in this room.
Yeah, you can speak for me too.
But I'm going to be a little bit more critical with the hiring. But I want success, and I want the coach to want to deliver that. So I'm going to try to see things their way, but I'm not going to necessarily just like it happened this year where I hopped off.
You're not going to let him off the hook.
I'm not going to let him off the hook. And this
you're not going to accept it all the time.
No, and this is the type of thing where we're seeing these positive things, and then Stephen Jones goes and does this during a press conference, and hopefully I got this hooked up right.
Obviously, we're also evaluating where it didn't go right, in terms of, this drought that people say we're in terms of a championship game or a Super Bowl.
And
what a fucking idiot.
Like, he could have said that. He could have said that and left out his air quotes. And
what a fucking idiot. What do you call it? If you hadn't fucked anyone in 30 years, what would you call it? A
drought?
Drought.
A drought.
You haven't won a Super Bowl for 30 years. You haven't even made an NFC championship game for 30 years. A drought would be kind words.
Every
drought's
team in the
nice.
NFC has been there except the Cowboys.
Exactly. And this guy's air quoting that fans think we're in a drought. Well, what the hell are you in then? You
It's
tell us
insane.
what you guys are in. They don't look at us as a
Absolutely.
drought because they're still making fucking bank.
Right.
That clip drives me absolutely bonkers.
That's
It really
no,
does.
you hit the nail on the head, Ant. It's the fact that the Cowboys still drive merch. They still have people going to Jerry World and filling that shit out. Cowboys fans are still gonna, be watching every piece of content out there because they love their team. So they don't give a shit. They don't care.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, look at us. Look at the bandwagon.
Don't
boys.
buy it. Don't
Covering
buy
their
merch.
colors.
Don't buy merch.
Dressed to the fucking nines.
We bought this at Costco, okay? On discount.
No, but like what we're dealing with is like this two-way pole, obviously, and you've got I don't know what Stephen Jones is actually thinking, but the fact that even if it was subliminal or on purpose, he air quoted the 30-year championship, just like Kevin Gray here at Kevin Gray Sports on Twitter says, or X, sorry. It's so dismissive, and it totally reflects, okay, it doesn't really matter about making you guys happy. What matters is that we're just running a football team.
Yeah, it's tone deaf. It's tone deaf.
Tone deaf, extremely
Give it.
tone deaf.
Can we get it one more time just to get me pissed off again?
Obviously, we're also evaluating where it didn't go right, in terms of, this drought that people say we're in terms of a championship game or a Super Bowl. And obviously,
what a dumb
What a fucking idiot.
And yeah, I watched the press conference there because I was like, I've never really heard Shoddy speak, but it was funny because they, everyone, there was press and media, I guess, in there, and some Dallas Cowboys players as well too. I don't know if they were out at this point, but they were in the room when Shoddy was speaking. And as they were doing the introductions, everyone's clapping. They clap for Jones, Jerry Jones. They clap for Schottenheimer, and then they announced Stephen Jones, and no one claps. So, like literally, no one claps, and then you kind of hear a little spattering in the background, and then you hear Brian Schottenheimer goes, "Oh, I'll clap. He just had to bail him out. But it's that,
or you just hear, fuck that guy.
Yeah, Stephen Jones is universally hated by Dallas Cowboys fans. Universally hated.
Well, the other, so this is kind of what I was leading to or thinking about when I saw this quote, and then I also saw another quote, and I believe it was by Stephen Jones, and I'll paraphrase, but it was definitely one of the Joneses, and they were asked about free agency and what
free agency.
Free agency. Oh yeah, these are not free. These agents aren't free.
Free.
Let me tell you.
Quote it. Air quote it.
Air quote it.
Free.
But he was saying, okay, well, I think we're going to try to do things a little different. I'm paraphrasing. Now, it wasn't a direct we didn't go as hard in the free agency as we should have.
Yeah, no shit.
But that's kind of, that's what I took from it. And then you also come to another quote by Stephen Jones, and he's going, well, it's going to be a really tight it was a really tight 2024, and it's going to be a tight 2025 too. You also see these things
Pocketbooks are tight, guys. I don't know.
We can get into the whole debate about how much cap space there is or isn't, but if teams want to make space for
they make
a player, they'll figure it out. And if that means eating shit 5 years down the road, that's fine.
And listen,
and any coach, Schottenheimer should be fine with that because he's like, look, if I only got 4 years here, eat shit in 5 years, then let's just fucking
buckle
go
up,
out there
man.
and
Let's buckle up.
Get a Super Bowl.
I was gonna say, there's no fucking way that you look at other teams and how they do it, and if you're just that, maybe they are that tone deaf and they just will not look at it and they just I can't figure this out. Like Stephen Jones has been doing it for so many years. Maybe he's just, we know he's an idiot, but maybe he's a big idiot and he can't absolutely figure it out, and they're too proud or they don't want to bring. Yeah, they don't want to bring anybody else in, and they don't.
I would be fine if there was any sort of. If it feels like if they have a plan, they're not pulling the curtain back, and it would be nice to be like, look, we know things are this way and that, but trust us, in 2-3 years, it's going to make sense. We've not really had that kind of confidence given to us. It's always just deflecting the things of now and talking about how, well, we can't really do things because of the problems that we have right now. And that's, relevant, but also, well, what's the plan? What's the 4-year plan here with Schottenheimer? And to win a Super Bowl, okay, that's a great goal, but like, there's a lot of steps you got to kind of plan out to get there.
Well, I mean,
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fuck you guys.
Sorry, guys. I was just gonna say, like, what would be like a big dick, big bald move is if the Cowboys went in there and traded up in the first round. If they went and traded up and did something, I'd be like, okay, let's fucking party. These guys see someone that they think they can start off, because this year 2025 has a very good chance of being a wash. If you could use some of your compensatory picks or work some sort of deal out to move up in the first round, which I know hasn't been great for the Cowboys in past drafts, but if you wanted to move up to get a guy like Abdul Carter, right? Something like that would put me on board. But I'm just firing myself up right now because I've been on the PFF draft game thing going on. But I just, these guys are just such idiots. They're just so stupid, and they wasted our the biggest joke of anything was the fact that they went into the season with a 1-year deal with Mike McCarthy to then go 7-10 and just fire him or not fire him, but just let him walk off into the sunset, right? Like, and I feel like in my brain, I just have such a sour taste from that I just think that's what's happening for the next couple of years. Like, I need to see something like a trade up or a trade back, or like I need to see, or a big free agent signing before I'm on board again. Yeah, honestly.
See, the fucked up thing about the situation that the Cowboys are in is that they can't announce that they're in a rebuild, because you're not going to rebuild with a $60 million quarterback. You're not going to rebuild with one of the top 2 highest paid wide receivers in football. You're not going to rebuild with a guy like Micah Parsons that's going to go break the bank, after the season or whatever it is. You can't sell that to your fan base. So they do this quiet quitting type shit where it's like, oh, well, we don't have any money and we're not going to spend anything in free agency. And then they're going to just dive all the way into the draft and then have a whole bunch of young players on cheap contracts. And then they're not ready to actually contribute or play, right away. And the team is going to be mediocre again. So, they're rebuilding. They just can't come out and tell you that.
Yeah. It's a soft rebuild.
Yep.
Hey, soft rebuild.
You know what?
Air quote it.
I know that might piss people off. I'm totally cool with announcing a rebuild right now. And right? Like, totally. I'm like, okay. Like,
I mean, that's the right thing to do.
I think so. And
because we're also not stupid, but
yeah.
You've talked to Cowboys fans.
Well, it's more of like, it's been so long, I can get it. Like, if every year has been a rebuild for the last 30 years or whatever, it's however long you want to go back, I can understand that, like, you're not believing it. But yeah, if you're going to play this game like, oh, well, you're not really making the moves that you need to do, but then perennially in a, I don't know, middle of the pack, really, at the end of the day, even if you are making the playoffs. That is the worst place to be for a team, I think. Constantly
purgatory.
Purgatory is the worst place that you can be in sports.
Yeah.
You either want to be at the tippy top or at the bottom.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because if you're in the middle, you're never actually getting better. You're just constantly
treading
water. You're just treading water. You're not getting the picks within the draft to be a Detroit Lions who sucked, 5 years ago, but got the right pieces in and right head coaches. You're just continuously trying to strive and get better, and you just don't see it.
Well, and everybody's saying that the Detroit Lions they lost their DC and their OC, and now they're going to suffer this year. Like, Dan Campbell brought both of those guys on. So if you don't think that Dan Campbell already knew 2 years ago that he's going to probably lose these guys at some point and have something in to prepare for that, like, you're completely wrong. I think the Detroit Lions, maybe they might not have a season like they did this past year, but I think they're going to be just as successful going into this next season that they were these past 2 seasons.
They'll still be competitive,
yeah. But I don't think you should ever worry about you building those successful pieces on your team. But you are right. As a head coach or the GM or whoever's making those decisions, and it's probably a group of people, you want to make sure that you've got, okay, if and when this happens, we're going to move this next dude into this position. Maybe that doesn't happen all in-house, but having one or two guys in-house who you know can move up when that happens, that's always a good thing to have. And I wonder if, because Al Harris fucked off to
Chicago.
That was a bad one.
Yeah,
It was a bad one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering what he's going to do because he took a completely different role because he can't laterally move. So when you change your role, can you go back to your role the year later?
What did he go to?
He's the offensive not offensive play caller, passing. He's the offensive passing caller.
They also have end of contracts too. So like,
right.
If he hits the end of the contract, he could probably choose to go. But if you're going to hire someone who's on a contract, he needs to go up the rung.
I had something before we talked about Al Harris. I had something I was going to say. Completely forgot now. Guess what? Doesn't really matter.
Well, can I fill in with something?
Yeah, fill it in. Fill it in there,
one re-signing or something that we haven't talked about, and it's big, and it's the re-signing or extension of Will McClay for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like if there's one bright spot going on for the Dallas Cowboys, keeping that dude, having that guy leave to some other team to be a GM. Somehow he must have like tapes of Jerry Jones and Steven like pig roasting some chick or something.
Listen, I think the only way he would be a great candidate for, president of football operations.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like
definitely.
And if I'm Will McClay, that the only way I stay long term is if I can be able to get something like that, even if it's in name only and Jerry's still doing his dumb shit. I need to be elevated to a position where I'm taken seriously. People know who I am, but they really need to know who I am now.
Well, perhaps that's what they're shaping up for. And, Jerry's probably really never going to let go of his position until...
I bought a lifelong thing here, Alex. I'm not giving this up.
But we don't know. Like, I was talking with Adam about it, too, and I was like, if Jerry's hard-pressed on saying, I'm handing this down to you, son, Steven, and you're going to run the Cowboys, and he goes, yes, Daddy, that's true. That's what I'm going to do.
Yes, Daddy, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, Daddy.
But Steven Jones might actually be like, you know what? Like, I like owning the Cowboys, but will you do this better? Like, we don't actually know that Steven...
I think Steven would be a more traditional owner.
Perhaps.
Rather than...
step away from it a little bit, not trying to be it. Yeah, I agree.
Still do all the talking, get all that glory that you're looking for, but in terms of like the power structure, maybe that gets handed down to Will McClay. Now you got to hope that Will McClay stays on that long, and maybe
doesn't get sniped.
Doesn't get sniped. Well, it's a 5-year contract, and just a quick breakdown for him from Todd Archer. He's overseen the Cowboys scouting since 2014, 15 Pro Bowlers and 6 all pros through the draft.
You got to say it like the old dude from Days and Confused. 15 Pro Bowlers, 6 all pros, looking tough.
Before we move on, Al Harris, Chicago Bears defensive backs coach and defensive pass game coordinator.
Okay, so who's trying to tell us that it was offensive then?
Well, I was like, oh, he moved up to the pass game coordinator, and then someone in chat was like, oh no, that's an offensive position. And Ad saw chat say it and totally denounced what I was saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I got a little thing called Wikipedia, babe.
No, I trust yours, and I just have to say I also read that he had an offensive position, so it might have been some.
Well, I think the pass game coordinator throws people off because you think pass game is in an offensive position, but that's probably pass game.
Defensive pass
coordinator.
Okay, I know what I was going to say. If you we looked at the Cowboys, they have 22 free agents that they have to re-sign.
Yep.
Philadelphia Eagles going into this offseason have 26. Now.
Oh, wow.
The difference with the Cowboys and the Eagles fucking make moves. The Eagles make moves in the offseason. The Eagles make moves.
Howie Roseman doesn't fuck around.
So, you look at that. If you look at that as an Eagles fan, you're like, yeah, they'll figure it out. They're gonna figure out. They probably are in a this is their season. They're in a win now. Like they are in an absolute win now mode. you're in the Super Bowl, so of course you're going to be in a win now mode. You brought Saquon on, but like you go into, they're probably going to rebuild and they're going to make moves that are going to, we're going to look at like, why the fuck can't our owners do stuff like that, right? And to go back to Stephen Jones,
Nepotism. That's
well,
the
so to
reason.
go back to Stephen Jones, and if you look at like what Jerry actually, everyone's like, Jerry's such a good actor on Landman. He was just saying probably what he said a million times in like, he was just being Jerry Jones. What his monologue in Landman and what he was saying is exactly how he views everything to do with the Dallas Cowboys, signing players, not making big moves. Like he wants to make this family thing and that's it. I don't want to make outside moves. I don't want someone else to come in here and do this. It's going to be me, but it's going to be very sad that you have more money than ever and you're not going to put all that effort into trying to win a Super Bowl and like bookend your career. Win 2 Super Bowls before you die, and the rest, the drought is erased. But it's not gonna.
Don't you ever air quote drought ever again.
That's all I'm gonna do. When I anybody wants some droughts.
I'll say this though. The only thing everyone always talks about, like Eagles fans in comments, are always like, "Oh, you're jealous that Hurts isn't your quarterback. You're jealous of this player isn't this spot on your team." The only thing I'm jealous of the Eagles is the Cowboys don't have Howie Roseman running the fucking football operations when it comes to drafting and re-signing. That's the only person on the Eagles that I would want. Oh, and maybe Saquon Barkley over on the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about it, it's like, I look at Jerry Jones all these years, and I never realized that the older he gets, the more he morphs into looking like fucking Yoda.
Yeah, the white Yoda.
But he's not anywhere near as smart in his wisdom as Yoda, and it just fucking pisses me off that Stephen Jones has been running this team in the shadows for a very, very long time. I've said it for years that Stephen Jones is the penny pincher, and Jerry's just like, all right, Stephen, since you want to do that, we'll do that. I'll have your back in the media. I think Stephen Jones is there you go.
I mean, that's pretty goddamn bang on.
That's how old Jerry Jones is gonna be when he finally hangs up his cleats. Yeah,
Jerry's not dying. His kids will die before him.
No, he's gonna he's gonna.
Well, Stephen Jones looks like he's about to kick the bucket before Jerry, and I don't want to bring anything into existence, but man, that Yoda pick is hilarious.
Salt I love. I will just say this:
it makes me
the Eagles. So Jalen Hurts is in his second contract, I believe, with the Eagles.
He is.
They have an awesome contract for this guy. The maximum amount, so they have him till 2028. His highest salary is $47 million. And the max amount of the cap space is 14% at the end. They're paying him 8%, 10%.
That's what you call team friendly leverage, where they can be able to continue to be aggressive as the cap continues to rise every year. They're going to continue to be able to add pieces no matter who they lose. They can always have that flexibility. And, Cowboys don't have that. Yes, the cap is going to go up and Dak's contract is going to be more acceptable, but it's still a big number. And it's outrageous.
And I don't want to harp on a point, but has 4 years experience in the NFL. This contract was signed in 2023. So they signed him pretty early into his rookie deal.
Smart.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Wait a second. You don't franchise your rookie quarterback and then get outballed by him. Like, man, the Joneses are the absolute worst when it comes to shit like that.
Are we though? Look. Hey, look at our price tag.
In comparison, the lowest that Dak's contract will be until 2028, same time, is this year, 2024, or last year, I should say, sorry, at 17%. Next year, 33%, 23%, 20%, 21%. So, which, honestly, when you look at the average of NFL teams, I think it's 20% is what you would put into a top starting NFL quarterback. That's what you see on average. I'm not saying that's what you should do, especially after looking at what the Eagles did here. But it's just when you look at these two contracts, they're signed to the same year. The difference, the major difference here is Hurts signed 1 year earlier, and Dak signed this a year after. Now, obviously, Dak would have gotten more anyways per year, but it's crippling 2025. It's an $89 million or $90 million basic salary cap at this point. Now,
Goodness.
I will say this though:
can you
if
kick
Hurts
half
somehow,
of that down the road?
Oh, sorry, AJ.
Oh, just can you kick? Could you kick half of that salary down the road? I don't.
Oh,
I don't know.
that's what you hope. But I think if Hurts does win the Super Bowl, he's maybe not this year, but they will extend him.
He's due for a raise. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
But no Eagles fan's going to complain about that. The guy just brought you a Super Bowl, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so you raise.
You get this. You get the Super Bowl. Hell yeah! Give the guy what he wants. Get him to on par. Get him on par.
That's how it works.
Guys.
If you win the Super Bowl, go ahead and break bank. But until you do that, you can't fucking do that.
Yeah, you're going to pay $25 million per fucking quad because he squats 600 pounds, baby.
And even if you said, okay, we're doubling your contract, he's still under 20% for the next 2 years. And then by that point, salary cap's going up on average 7% every year. We're at like 250 million or something like that, right? Roughly.
Still a decent deal for a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
You're getting like 14, 16, 18 million dollars added onto that salary cap each year. You can afford to do that. So anyways,
well, and that's when the Joneses must think people are stupid because the Joneses must think people are stupid because this is accessible to everybody that has an internet connection.
Right. It's public record.
Yeah.
Like if anyone that gives a fuck that wants to take 5 minutes of their time to Google this can tell that the Jones family doesn't know how to do contracts.
Like, listen,
how it is.
You have more money than you know what to do with it. Pay some fucking smart nerd $300,000 a year to develop a Dallas Cowboys proprietary AI software and let them fucking figure out the contract holes and the money and the salary cap to figure out how to do this. And then you don't have to look like you're going outside to somebody else to help you out. You have a device that's telling you, and then Stephen Jones, you can look like fucking Cap Boy. You can make whatever moves, but just make smarter fucking moves.
Bad son.
Yeah, bad son.
Well, I've seen a few posts and articles ranging that or saying that the Cowboys could free up to $100 million. So let's even just cut that in half to $50 million if they did half of the things that would require to do that. $50 million plus the $17 million rollover from last season. Like, I'm not sure where, if you're not spending that money this season, on free agents, $67 million in the free agency minus whatever, and it would be more than that because that's just the rollover and what they could free up. But it doesn't make sense, and I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around because I understand. Okay, if you sign a guy for this year, you got to look for next year. You're like, yeah, sure, I get that. Like, you got to look out for the future as well. You can't just bankrupt the team, or unless you're going to win a Super Bowl, then go ahead and do that, right?
Yeah.
But there's too many other people out there who have a much better knowledge than me that makes sense, and I have to trust that. Like, okay, it makes too much sense that you could free up this much money. Why would we not go out and get certain dudes who are really pivotal to helping fill a big void on this team?
Right.
Do you think that they just are like Jerry Jones? Do you think he's ever logged onto the internet? Like, maybe, like, do you think they're just living in a bubble? And like,
where's my Tandy? Where's my Tandy?
Yeah, like there's
huge bubble. Like fucking massive bubble.
There's no fucking way they could be that tone deaf to.
They call the bubble the DFW.
Right.
That's the Metroplex. That's the Joneses bubble, guys.
Right.
Yeah, listen. I think that they just, hubris is a hell of a thing. When you've been the Dallas Cowboys owner your whole, the majority of your life, and you've been successful, and you're this rock star, you think that you know how to be able to figure things out, and people think that you know what you're doing. I think that modern day Jerry Jones doesn't really understand how the modern day NFL works. And it's kind of like Robert Kraft, right? A lot of people are starting to look at Robert Kraft sideways as well because he had Bill Belichick and Tom Brady for a long time. But when you look at the marginal moves that they've made in their organizations in regards to staff and stuff like that, and not really investing into analytics and stuff, he's kind of behind the times as well. So there's a lot of things that you're seeing with these Hall of Fame owners here that they're a little similar in regards to them being a little bit outdated when it comes to how to be able to build a modern day roster in the NFL.
I mean, that's a good close, maybe. What do you think?
Well, no,
I got a
we
good,
agree.
I got
We
a
all-
good close.
Yep.
I got a good close. Barry Grant Jr., where can people find you, my guy?
Yeah, you can find me all over the place. I mean, TikTok, All Even Media, Instagram, at All Even Podcast, X, at All Even Podcast, YouTube, All Even Podcast with Barry Grant Jr. I talk about a myriad of things. I'm always running my mouth. I'm always supporting my guys, Cowboys CanFan. I love you guys.
We love you.
You know, so it's just, you know, I'm around.
And I did notice that you have now brought the All Even podcast live on YouTube.
You're damn
moved
right.
to live.
You're damn right. I had some audio issues, but I fixed it, got it right. So this week I'll be all set and ready to go talk some more shit.
Hell yeah. Bandwagon boys, give us an outro, baby.
So if you're looking to see us at any point or time, we're always here in the studio. You could find us at Cowboys CanFan because you're on our show. But if you're out there and you're talking cap space or anything like that, and you're looking at an Eagles fan or a Kansas City Chiefs fan, or more particularly a fucking Philadelphia Eagles fan, I want you to look them straight in their stupid cross-face eyes and their unibrow, and you tell them to go fuck themselves! We play, we kid. All right, peace.
Peace.